Hello and welcome to Louis Philippe in Pursuit of Excellence. The words great, icon, legend, they really don't do justice to my guest today. He is the one and only man of Indian cinema, Amitabh Bachchan. Great to see you, Amit.
Very
Long
gracious
time.
words, Vijay. Thank you very much for having me on the show. A great pleasure, but really not accustomed to hearing these lovely words accolades that you throw at me. But thank you so much.
No, it's wonderful to see you. The last time we met up, it was in England at Wimbledon.
Absolutely.
And we enjoyed having you there. And did you enjoy the tennis?
Absolutely. I was actually having problems getting into Wimbledon, and I really must thank you for, escorting me in and taking me to the players' enclosure and the restrooms and places that I'd never seen before. So I really must thank you for that.
So we're
But
going to,
surprisingly, I haven't been to Wimbledon after that.
it's time to make another visit.
It's time for you to invite me.
Always open, always open. We're going to go back and talk a little bit about your early years. So you need to wear a memory hat on a little bit. And let's go back in time. Now, when you grew up, of course, you grew up in a sort of an arts family. Your father was in theater and your mother was also very creative and so on. Did that kind of energize you to become an actor?
Never thought about joining this profession. My father was not actually connected with theatre. He was a poet and writer. My mother was interested, but on a very amateur level. And there was never any desire or kind of a direction given to me that this is where you need to go, or this is what I need to be doing. We all, when we are in school, we always end up doing something in school plays, and that kind of an atmosphere persisted with all of us. Then when I was, when I graduated and I was working in as an executive in Kolkata in a managing agency house, I came across my brother actually, who was also there, came across an advertisement by Filmfare Madhuri, which is the famous
Yes.
film magazines, who were holding a contest where they were inviting applicants to come give a test in a sense if they wanted to join the profession. And I felt that this seemed to be a very honest and direct and a proper manner in which somebody desirous of wanting to join the film industry could do so. So I applied and I got rejected in the preliminaries. So that was very disheartening. And but then, by then, somehow something, inside me said that, I wanted to get in there. And so I resigned my job, came back home to Delhi, and just one fine day landed up in Mumbai, went from door to door. And,
No, but when you look back at that and you think, is this something I really wanted to do? Did your parents encourage you to do it? Did you want to maybe stay in the professional life other than movies?
No, never. I think those early years, and we're talking about 40s and 50s, the most important element that used to be told to us is you have to graduate.
Yes.
And that used to be the kind of landmark.
Yes.
There weren't so many facilities available to us as they are to the youngsters of today. And they have so many professions and so many tributaries and directions that they can take on at a very early age and actually pursue it and make a life out of it. But for us, there weren't so many opportunities at that time. And the main thing was, you must graduate. So our main interest at that time was we have to graduate. But after graduation, what? We didn't have any direction.
So you come to Delhi, brings you to Mumbai. You actually were rejected on several occasions. Was it your physique, being tall, dark, and handsome, or was it the fact that
Tall and dark. Cut out the third one. And that was quoted many times. You're too tall. No leading lady will ever work with you. So why don't you go back and do some poetry like your father is? So these are some of the things. But I think that it's quite natural for any newcomer that comes in. We never know your potential. Now, of course, the younger generation is greatly more prepared. And there are many facilities available to them where they can demonstrate what they're capable of doing. They make videos of themselves. They come from, acting schools and the Pune Film Institute or from private institutes. And they have some kind of a reference which facilitates their, being picked up. But for us, there was nothing.
So you come to Mumbai. What was your big break? How did you feel that you were going to be recognized? You were going to make it big. You were not a teenager. You came at a later age. Yeah. So all of these things, positive, negative.
I don't think that I came in with thinking that I'm going to make it big. I think that's a more subjective terminology. You just want to be associated with cinema. You want to get an opportunity to act. And I was quite fortunate. I came a year before the year I actually am supposed to have joined the film industry through some kind friends who wanted to do a screen test of mine. And I came and I gave a screen test, but nothing came of it. Then my brother, who had then been posted to Mumbai, came across some friends who were going to be working with Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, who was making a film, and he was looking for new faces. He put up my photograph and said, my brother is also a keen aspirant. And I don't know, Khwaja Ahmad Abbas seemed to like what he saw. He called me over. So I came here on the 15th of February, 1969. And he said, fine, you're on. And I got my first job. But thereafter, there was always a huge struggle to get your next film and next opportunity.
I mean, when you look at your past performances and the way you got the roles, the adversities you faced, the difficulties you faced in getting them, how do you think you really overcame them?
I guess you just have to persist in doing what you're doing. Success and failure are, things that will come continuously in your life. And you're never able to make out what is going to succeed and what is going to fail. But yes, there are times when you have continuous failure and you wonder whether, you should be pursuing this any further. It's something that is more individual at that point of time. I think you feel that despite the fact that there have been many failures in your life, there is something that you wait for to happen. And you hope that if that happens, then you would be able to, strike the gong at the right time. And then suddenly everything happens. When it happens, and let's say you do have a success, then comes the other problem. Now, how to keep it going and keep continuing to be successful? Because that's what's going to respond to how the other people are going to take you in their future projects and so on and so forth. And that's a continuous process. And then suddenly you have a failure in between. And I've been through many of those moments. And I guess what I've done is that I just wanted to continue doing what I was doing. There were many occasions when you feel that, you should give up and go back home. But the fear of facing people looking at you as a defeatist and having lost and come back, I think that's one of the factors that keeps you going. You don't know how you would face them. So for me, it was that if I was to fail as a professional in cinema, I would have to go back to Kolkata and start working all over again. And they would look at me with a lot of, not very pleasant expressions.
So, as you've seen cinema in India change over the years, and of course different languages as well, as we look across this great country of ours, what strikes you the most? The first 10 years when you were working, and then of course the next decade,
Right.
and so on, as it moved on. Obviously equipment and all of that changes as we go along. Institutes have come along as well. But at the end of the day, what would you say is those major changes that have happened?
I think apart from what you've just mentioned, the technological advancement, the acceptance of cinema as an entity in the polity of the country. I think it's the audiences that have changed over the years. In the 40s and the 50s, children from good homes were not allowed to even think of this profession. Even when I was young, my parents had to go and wet a film before we would be allowed to go and see it. But look, that's changed now. And cinema has almost become a parallel culture of the country. I don't know whether this is good or bad for the country, but the fact is that that's what it is. And I think as we celebrate 100 years of Indian cinema, that's something that I feel very proud of. An entity that was looked down upon, almost considered infra-dig, is today an acceptable feature in our society. And not just in our society, is projecting our profile to other parts of the world. And nothing could be better than that. So that's how I look at it. And I feel that this is something that is only going to get bigger. We are the largest filmmaking nation in the world, but we don't earn that kind of money. I believe United States and Hollywood is the second largest export earner for the United States of America. And despite the fact that we are making the largest number of movies in the world, we're nowhere near that. So there's a huge financial difference, there's a huge commercial difference. But I think that there is suddenly an awareness about everything that is concerning Indian cinema in other parts of the world. I don't know if it's just the cinema that's doing it, and I may be completely wrong here, but I do believe that with the opening up of the economy in the country, many things about the country have suddenly started being accepted, whether it's our food, our dresses, our culture, our politics, our games, our cinema, our music. And whether it is the economic reason that has drawing other people from the more developed countries to our country, I don't know. It's a question that I posed to Mr. Steven Spielberg when he was here and I was moderating an interview of his. He didn't seem to think that. He just felt that the country by itself, because of communication, is, everyone's getting closer, and the fact that cinema needs to be admired, whether it comes from any part of the world, could be the reason. But these are the things that I notice now, and I feel that the people, the acceptability of cinema as a very powerful entity in our society, and the fact that it's getting international recognition are some of the things that have changed from the time when I was there.
Take a short break, be right back. Welcome back to Louis Philippe in Pursuit of Excellence. I'm in conversation with the legendary Amitabh Bachchan. The interesting thing is that when you started doing movies and you felt you were being challenged by the roles that you were starting to get, and how did you challenge yourself further to become a better actor, that you can actually delve into the role more deeply?
Yeah, I think that's an ongoing process. I'm still working on it. And I still feel that that when I go on the sets tomorrow, I wonder how I'm going to be able to deliver those lines, and whether I'm going to be able to be capable enough to satisfy the director and the maker and the audience eventually. That's something that I think all of us have to contend with. I certainly do, and I feel that every day is a fresh challenge. But somewhere I think I enjoy that. I want to have a sleepless night. Want to live with that work that is going to be coming the next morning, and be worried about how it's going to come, and be really concerned about it and be living with it. From the moment you get up in the morning till the time you dress up and you're traveling, it's kind of continuously plays in your mind.
Now, what would you say to youngsters, one, getting into cinema in India, and two, youngsters in general in this country, about perhaps trying to follow their dream?
I think there needs to be some kind of a self-confidence in knowing your craft and the direction that you want to take. As I said earlier to you, we never had that opportunity. There were There was no one to guide us as to where to go. Had I known that there was a Pune Institute, I would not have wanted to go to university to graduate. I would have rather gone to the Pune Film Institute, knowing that I want to become an actor. But it just happened, and we just went ahead. But today's generation is 100 times more smarter, more knowledgeable, more aware of what they want to do with their lives, where they want to go, and how to get there. And that's really brilliant. At a very young age, they make up their minds that this is the profession that they're going to follow. So if you have the ability to be able to gauge what your talent is, then everything else falls into place. Because there is that self-confidence that I know what I'm doing. I need to have that confidence within me. And yes, there will be obstacles and there will be many hurdles to cross. But if I am convinced within myself, then someday I will achieve that and I will cross those hurdles.
So when you look at the entire profession in your gambit of your life, how would you, if you had to pick a sentence or a couple of sentences to say it, how would you say excellence? How would you define excellence in your profession?
I'll never be able to do that. Because I feel that it's something that I shall possibly never be able to achieve till the last moment of my work. I feel that I need to be challenged every day. And I'm not sure whether that has reached some kind of pinnacle. I think satisfaction in my profession is an unacceptable term for me. The moment I'll say I'm satisfied with what I've done, I will kill myself as an actor. We don't want to be satisfied. I want something to come up tomorrow which is going to challenge me and make me do something better than what I did yesterday. I would like to look up to it like that. The moment we say that we are satisfied and we've done our best and this is what excellence means, I would be dishonest to my profession and to myself as an actor. So I would really want that there be no limits. I don't want to define excellence because in my idea, I can't define it. Because if I've defined it, that means I've actually achieved it. If I've achieved it, then I'm being dishonest because I know that there's something better that can be done.
Amit, thank you so much for joining us on the show. You're a true inspiration to all of us. And once again, I'm happy to have you. And I can wish you safe travels, good health to you and the family. And come see us in the US as well.
Sure.
You can also watch this episode online at louisphilippe.com.